Welcome back to The Outright Effect, a podcast in which unique perspectives challenge us to be better versions of ourselves. We're two ambitious women who talk about how we like to stretch our creativity and work on self-growth to become better people. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Tempsy.
And today we are going to be doing a Q&A. So we've done one of these quite a long time ago. Thought it would be fun to revisit so that, you guys can get to know us a little bit better. And yeah, we just thought it would be fun to do.
And we can get to know each other better.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tempsy and I went and picked 10 questions to ask each other. We're going to take turns. I am going to go first with asking Tempsy questions. And in the future, if you guys ever want to ask us anything, feel free to, follow us on Instagram, let us know through DMs, or you can also email us at theoutrighteffect@gmail.com. That's actually something we'd really like to do, is answer your questions for us, because I feel like that would just be a little bit more interesting. We don't know what you guys want to know. And that would definitely be cool for us to talk about, all kinds of different things. All right. So let me get started with these questions for Tempsy. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. First question. If you could do anything in the next year, what would it be?
It's funny because the first thing that comes to mind is travel, right? Everybody wants to go somewhere, go out and do stuff. But in actuality, I just really want to see my family. I've had to have, as we've talked about before, have those difficult conversations around COVID and how safe people are being, specifically in my family. And they're just different thoughts and perspectives around COVID. And so I really just want to see my family. That's whether they travel here or I travel there, I don't care. It's less about the travel for me. It's more about just hanging out with my family. I miss you, family. If you're listening, I love you.
Oh, and by the way, I guess I should also throw out there that we don't know which questions the other person is asking us. So Tempsy was not given these questions ahead of time. She's just answering them on the fly. Okay. Question number 2. What is something that you love doing that you're terrible at?
I love singing, but I am not good at it. I wish I was really good at it. I would love to be a singer, and I'm an okay dancer, but I would love to be a superb dancer. If that, I know that's not answering your question, but I'm just tacking that on.
So singing is something you love doing, but you feel like you're terrible at.
Yeah.
All right. I can't sing either, so whatever. All right, number 3. What is the best gift you've ever received?
Ooh, this is a good one.
Does not have to be a thing.
I think I'm glad you said that, because I think for me, knowing that it doesn't have to be a thing, the greatest gift that has taught me so much was having a child. It was super hard, but super eye-opening and so rewarding. And everybody says that, right? A lot of people say it's worth it. You're the love that they show you. And I was like, whatever. I know it was just, I didn't really truly comprehend what they were saying until I experienced it, if that makes sense. And so that's been the greatest gift in my life.
Cool. And you get to have that gift for a long time.
Yes. As long as I do it right. Hopefully.
All right. Question number 4. What is the last thing you bought for under $50 that you love and use often?
Oh, this is a good one. So one thing is, there are these kids play mats that are a little bit foamy, if you know what I'm, they're a half-inch thick, and they just kind of lay on the ground so that if your baby kind of falls down or whatever and they hit their head on the mat, it's not going to be painful, and they can play on it. You can keep it cleaner a lot more often than when you clean your floors. And so it's a really good thing for the kids to play on. And there are some that are very kid focused, meaning the pattern or the design is more for kids. And then there are some that are more to match with your decor. And so
is it like those interlocking ones?
No, I know what you're talking about. Those are good too, but those can get particles stuck between the interlocking pieces.
Hmm.
And so I like these like bigger one, these full-sized ones where they're all one mat.
Mm.
And we ordered them previously in Hawaii, and we ordered one, and it was really expensive. It was like 130 something dollars. And so we're like, man, that's pretty expensive. But when we came to Vegas, we went to like TJ Maxx or Home Goods or something like that, and they had one for $35, and it was one that like was really nice decor wise and wasn't so kiddie because my son doesn't really need to be stimulated in that way with a playmat. He gets stimulated by things in other ways now, whereas babies get stimulated by what's on those kid style playmats where it has like ABCs and like
Oh,
bright
mhm.
colors and things like that. And so we found one for $35. My Grayson gets so lazy when he plays sometimes, where he just lays on the ground and pushes his cars back and forth. And so we're like, we don't want him to lay on the ground if it's been a couple of days since we've cleaned the floors, you know?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
at least this thing stays a little cleaner because nobody walks on it consistently. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it was like $35 and we were like, man, what a steal. It was really good, a really good purchase, and we use it a lot.
Cool. Number 5. What is something that you love? Wait, how did I have this question twice? I don't know how I have what is something you love that you're terrible doing that. That's weird. All right. Must have been like where I was pulling stuff from. Anyways, I'll move
Oh,
on to the next one.
okay.
What is one thing that you want to do before the year is over? Not traveling, because you already talked about that. So something else.
Right.
I mean, not necessarily traveling, but seeing your family.
I was gonna say my cardboard box town that I'm making with Grayson and for Grayson, but I'm actually hoping that'll be done like in a month, less than a month. What do I want to do? I guess one good thing I would say is just be completely settled in the house since we
Hmm.
moved to Vegas. It would be really nice to have all the photos up that we want up, ordered and put up, right? Have everything like in its place and organized because we're still trying to navigate and figure out like what our organization is and needs to be because it's a little bit bigger than, well, a lot bigger than what we had in the past. And so there's not as much of need for organization, but you still want to put things in places that are convenient and that if you're looking for something, you know exactly where it is. Otherwise, you won't use it or you'll buy another one.
Hmm.
So I'm really trying to be cognizant of how much stuff we have, where it's located, and that it's easily accessible. And so I'd really love to have my house like in a good place and that we didn't at a point where we don't have to move anything else. We just don't have to worry about the house anymore. We can just live our lives. That would be ideal.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, good to be settled, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next. If you could only use 3 condiments for the rest of your life, what would they be?
I picked this one for you too.
Really?
Spoiler alert. Yes. Okay. It would definitely be the Kewpie deep roasted sesame dressing.
That's very
You can
specific.
dip you can dip vegetables in that. You can use it as salad. It's like multi-purpose, multifunctional. So you can do a lot with it. And I love salad, so that's one of them. I think definitely something spicy. So I'd have to say sriracha because it mixes well with pretty much anything.
Mhm.
And then I think this one's going to be a little weird, but I think probably mustard, maybe
Why is that
mustard or
weird?
ketchup. Well, because it's
I
like if
mean,
you don't
it's
have
pretty
ketchup, then
staple, right?
like if you
Mustard.
couldn't have any other condiment and you only had mustard and not ketchup, is that not weird?
I don't know. I mean, I know people who don't like ketchup.
I know people who don't like mustard too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to
but
not
ketchup
like
has so much
mustard.
sugar in it. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. As a kid, so it depends what kind. So what kind of mustard? It's a very specific thing for me. What kind of mustard?
Do you not like yellow
No, I
mustard?
don't.
Okay, I figured. I like any mustard, but I probably would do like a Dijon or something like that.
How did you figure I don't like yellow mustard?
Because it's a very strong flavor. I feel like Dijon and like the multi-grain mustards or the grainy mustards, they do have a distinct taste, but it's not as tangy as like like a straight
Mm,
up yellow
mm.
mustard.
I actually, you know what? I think that's why I didn't like mustard as a kid because it was all just yellow mustard, and I was like, "What in the world is this?" I just
What am
like
I eating?
didn't like it. but that's what, was at
Yeah,
home or whatever, like a hot dog situation, right? Like when I was a kid.
right.
So I like refused to eat mustard. I thought it was like the worst thing on the planet. I mean, maybe not, but I really didn't like it.
Close.
But it's funny
No,
because
but yeah.
yeah, no, you're
Oh,
right.
sorry, go
I
ahead.
think I think that's I didn't realize other people didn't like yellow mustard actually. I thought it was just
Yeah,
me.
I actually have heard quite a few.
That's
It's
interesting.
funny. But I think if I didn't have to worry about the sugar and how my body processes it, I would probably pick ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
But I like mustard, like it's really good to me, so I would pick that.
Okay, cool. That's funny. All right.
I hope I didn't miss any good condiments I missed out on, because that would change my whole life. But anyways.
All right. Next question. What activity do you enjoy so much that it makes you lose track of time?
Ooh, there's a couple. Um, One of them is bullet journaling,
Hmm.
like anything that I have the time and space to sit down and be a little bit more creative. Like if I have the time, I'll lose any sense of time. But the other thing that is also like right up there with that is having like collaborative conversations, casual or professional or whatever, or like especially with my husband, because when him and I are in a groove and like really having thought-provoking discussions, I get so much energy from that.
Hmm.
And there are times, and even with you, like when you and I are just chatting, that's why this whole podcast started. We couldn't stop chatting. We just on to the next topic. One thing would lead to another, and I do get lost in those kinds of conversations.
Hmm. That's good. All right. Now we have, if you could only eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
So I'm going to approach this in two different ways because I can. One is if I have to worry about my diet, and one is if I don't.
Okay.
If I don't have to worry about my diet, then it's pasta, probably with like a butter sauce, a little bit spicy, and with vegetables in it.
Hmm.
I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
Like a veggie arrabbiata, something like that. And then if I did have to worry about my weight or like my how my body's gonna process it, then I think I would choose a like very hearty salad
Mm.
with, the previously talked about Kewpie deep sesame,
Mm,
deep roasted
mhm,
sesame
mhm.
dressing, and some hummus and just yum. Like all kinds of good stuff in there, like lots of vegetables. If I hadn't eaten egg that day, then maybe some egg, something really hearty like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could eat that every day. Every day.
All right, next question. What new skill or hobby would you like to learn in the next, let's say, 2 years?
There's a lot. So I've been thinking a lot about a lot of different things. I feel like it would be super cool to get really good at brush
Mm,
lettering.
mhm,
I would love to do that. But if I'm talking about something that's going to really help my future, there are several different things. Like I'd love to know how to work Excel in a way, the program Excel in a way where, if you have a whole bunch of data, you can display it in a way that's consumable and easily like understood by people. Because I'm pretty decent in Excel, but like if there's just a ton of data thrown on a page, being able to get it to a place, whether it's in a graph or like, reorganizing it so it's easy to read and understand. Sometimes it's not easily done in pivot
mm,
tables, if that
mhm.
makes sense. So that's one thing. And then I'm also considering like, should I get my real estate license? Like, is that going to help me in my future? I don't know. Or like, do I go the route of the PHR? Like those are the kind of things where I'm just like, oh, maybe these are things that would be helpful for my future, but I'm not sure what my future is really going to
Yeah,
look like.
yeah.
So I'm just
I was
like,
gonna
I don't
say, I
know.
mean, it depends what the ideal of the
I
future is, right?
know.
Because also at the same time too, I mean, like something could be helpful for a while and then not once, someone changes their
Exactly.
mind, right? So,
But you only have so much time in the day, so it's like, where do you spend your time? Like, where do you like what's going to be? You have to be very intentful, about what you spend your time on.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of hard. The other thing that I would love, like in terms of hobbies, I know I'm giving you like 8 answers, but things always come up, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. Another thing is flower arrangements. I don't know why, but I just would love to learn how to make nice flower
Hmm.
arrangements. I don't know, but it looks like it would be nice to have that skill and to be able to see what a nice flower arrangement looks like and how to put it
Yeah.
together.
I mean, some of these things, like let's say, for example, flower arrangements, you could arrange any flowers that happen to be purchased, even if it's like the $15 bouquet from wherever, grocery store or something,
Yeah, and
like,
I do, but like I feel like I could be more effective at it. Like there's like a way, like a methodology or like so I don't know. There's got to be something that I'm missing because it looks nice, but you can tell I just put it
yeah.
together.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is there are opportunities, right? Like we just have to see them that
Yes.
they are opportunities.
Yeah.
So
Just jump on YouTube
yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that sometimes it's hard to decide what to spend one's time on, but and choosing which might be the most beneficial. But sometimes over the next 5 to 10 years or whatever, after something is beneficial, something else becomes beneficial, right? Like it's like
Right,
forever
exactly.
evolving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. I found another one.
Okay.
Since I had a duplicate. Would you rather be slightly late or super early?
Super early, 100%. I don't get me wrong, like I was even late to this recording, but it drives me bonkers. And I also like get really frustrated when I'm being rushed or feel
Hmm.
rushed, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. So I just rather not feel rushed. I'd rather, have an idea what my day is going to be like and plan accordingly so that I'm not
Yep,
running
I
behind.
agree.
But today was out of my control. So gotta live like
Oh my
Elsa and let
gosh.
it go. That's Shelly's version of laughing. She's amused. All
I
right, are you
am,
ready,
yes.
Shelly? I have some that are similar to yours, but that's okay. I think it's a good
Yeah, it'll be kind of
way
like
of getting
a
to
like a
know.
parallel, right? Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what are you into now that you never thought you would be into?
Mm, that's a good question.
Do it.
So, I mean, I guess some things that I'm into now that I'm not surprised that I'm into is things around like social media, website, video editing, that kind of stuff, because I feel like I was into that
Hmm.
stuff when I was in high school, only it didn't have a name yet. It was before,
Right.
obviously, before Instagram or Facebook existed. Is when I was already doing stuff that was related, maybe not video per se. I don't think video was popular back then, especially because like file sizes were so small, but space online was so small too. Like it was just not going to happen. But I never thought I'd be into like exercising. I wouldn't say I'm like super into exercising, but I like hated like PE, like gym class. I hated doing stuff like that growing up. It's like my parents would sign me up for sports, or sometimes I'd be interested in playing sports, but actually doing it, like actually running around, and like I hate running around. Like I don't like to be out of breath, you know? But yeah, I have a personal trainer.
Do you not like
No, I
sweating
don't.
too?
Mm-mm. Nope. It's like
Yeah.
feeling like, I mean, because when you're running around, you get like hot, right? Physically. Like your temperature, like
Hmm.
not your
Yep.
temperature, like you're getting a fever, but you feel hot, you start sweating. I don't like any of that. I don't like my heart rate going up. I don't like, actually running. Yeah, I don't like being out of breath. I mean, I still honestly kind of don't like it, but um I do, relatively like working out to the point where I hired a personal trainer. So I mean, I guess I like it. I don't know. Anyways,
Well, I think you like the benefit of it, right? You
yeah.
feel
And I can
stronger,
do
you feel
stuff more
healthier,
than I
you
could
feel
before, like so that's what I feel like I like, but doing it, no, not really, not really crazy about it.
like walking your
Yeah,
dog.
yeah,
You can
he's
walk your
not
dog
walking
now.
me, for people like it's yeah, anyways, I have other thoughts on dog walking comments, but yeah, my dog's big. So yes, he and I are people joke, you guys are like the same size, which no, I do way more than him. But when you look at us, if we're sitting down next to each other, we do look like the same size. So yeah, so yeah,
That's funny.
exercise.
So if you could rename yourself, what name would you choose
I
and
would
why?
rename myself. I don't have a name per se in mind, but I would definitely pick a name that doesn't rhyme with a lot of things because my name, Shelly, rhymes with everything. And that was just really annoying as a child growing up. So anything that doesn't rhyme with things, I think I would be okay with, honestly. I
Really?
don't
Any
know,
other name?
I mean, I guess I wouldn't want something like super common. I also don't feel like Shelly, I feel like is not a super common name. I don't know a lot of other Shellys. I haven't worked with a lot of Shellys versus like if my name was Jennifer or something like that. Like I personally know a lot of
Yeah.
Jennifers, that's fine too, But I think I'd
Hmm.
want like some other name that doesn't rhyme with a lot of things that is like a little bit not unusual, like unique, but like just not super common.
Yeah, I only know one other Shelly, I think.
Yeah, I know some now. Like there are other Shellys at my work right now. Actually, this is the first time I've ever worked with other Shellys or had to like be around other Shellys. So but I just don't
Interesting.
like that it rhymes with everything.
So you don't have any name that you could think of that you would
No,
like prefer to
I
be named?
don't.
All right, number three, toilet paper is better dispensed over the top or
Over the
bottom? What's your
top
opinion?
because it just is logical.
All right. You are a right thinking American. All right, let's see. Number four, what's one thing we probably don't know about you?
Mm,
And keep in mind, we know you had red hair at one point, red, and we know that you rode a motorcycle,
um,
which is pretty cool, by the way. I wouldn't say cool,
oh my
I'd say it's
gosh,
pretty
that's funny.
badass.
That's usually that I feel like that's like the standard reaction when there's a motorcycle involved.
Usually when people usually when people say that's funny, they also laugh.
Um, this is not interesting, but like, I mean, I don't need glasses. I guess that, yeah, I feel like people assume like people around our age are just like, oh, everyone who's not wearing glasses must have LASIK or contacts. Like, I feel like, you know what I mean? Because people have
Oh,
like said like, oh, well, what kind
yep.
of like blah, 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 contacts, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't wear contacts, So yeah, I went to the eye doctor recently, which oh yeah, that's one thing. I don't go to the eye doctor very often because of that.
That that was funny
Because
when I heard you say that.
I can like nothing's bothering me visually, and typically the eye doctor is not trying to like reschedule my next appointment like the dentist is, where they're like, I'll see you in 6 months. When do you want to
Right.
come in? Like the eye doctor hasn't done that for me. So yeah, I think I've not gone to the eye doctor for like maybe almost 5 years. And then I went in and he's like, you're pretty much fine until for the next 10 years. Like I don't foresee anything really happening. And I was like, oh, perfect. But I will probably come in sooner
Dude,
just
must be
because, I want to
nice.
make sure everything's going okay in general, right? But so I don't wear contacts.
Right.
I only wear glasses if it's nighttime and I'm driving, or if this is very uncommon nowadays. But the reason what prompted me to get my first pair of glasses in college is because, chalkboards were still used back then and I couldn't read everything clearly on a chalkboard. But basically, for me, when I put glasses on, and this actually is what the eye doctor said, I was like, oh, yeah, that's how it is. It's like I'm seeing everything in HD. Like that's how it feels like for me. Like it's like
Oh,
extra clear, like extra vivid, extra clear. I'm just like, whoa. And then I started to think like, are my eyes actually bad? But the answer
wow.
is no. It's just that the glasses are like, it's basically giving me better than 20/20 vision when I put glasses on. I don't need it clearly, but
Wow.
yeah, it makes things look extra good. I can't even wear them in the movie theater because that's like too much. Like it's like too much for my eyes. So I'm whatever, sitting there in the dark and watching it like normal. Yeah. No, it
Does it
doesn't.
turn 3D on you or what?
That'd be crazy.
Would you say then your
Maybe,
eyes are
yeah.
extra?
Well, yeah, sure.
Just kidding. Bad joke, sorry. All right. Number five. This is the one that I had the same as you. If you could only use three condiments for the
So
rest of your
funny. So
life,
after
what
I
would they
asked you
be?
that question and you said you chose the same one for me, I started thinking of my condiments. And I feel
Oh,
like
good.
this is like a super generic answer, and it's literally based off of like, what do I actually use? Because I don't actually use a lot of condiments, period. So it would literally be like shoyu furikake and like Angelo Pietro's dressing. Like that's pretty much all that I really use.
Oh man, that Angelo Pietro's dressing, that like it was hard for me not to put that as my it was hard for me not to think I have to have
Yeah,
four.
like I don't really use much else. Like, when I'm cooking, I do use like salt and pepper and stuff like that, but like I don't add it onto anything afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, where I'm like, ooh,
Right.
furikake or something, or I'm like eating sushi, I'm like, ooh, I need to show you, like, let's see, anyway, so yeah, I felt like, oh, this is
Mm.
actually not that hard because like I only use like a limited amount of condiments anyway. Yeah.
Well, that's probably a good thing, though. All right, this is another one that you asked me as well. What is something that you love doing that you're terrible at?
Um, anything that requires, so I wouldn't say draw. I don't draw because I'm terrible at it. I also don't love drawing, but anything that has to do with like pen to paper and me doing something like, because like for example, I do like, I honestly I wouldn't really call it bullet journaling. I do like to have a bullet journal type planner, you know what I mean? And I do like to like make it look kind
Right.
of nice, right? And
Yeah.
but I'm not good at decorating stuff on paper, you know? Yeah. So, I do
Okay.
I do like doing it, it makes me feel good. I like looking at the pages when they look nice, but I can't decorate anything for my life. I mean, maybe like a room, but not like paper. Don't give me like markers and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. But you know what? The one or two maybe bullet journal like entries or spreads or designs that I have seen of yours is very like streamlined and clean cut. And I actually
Yeah.
like that about what you have done
Literally,
or
like
what I
that's all
have
I
seen of
do because
yours.
that's as far as that goes. I'm like, okay, ruler, let's draw some lines.
But it's
Okay, can
like
do this.
okay, ruler, let's draw. And then
Yeah.
those letter
Mhm.
stamps that you put on so perfectly, I was like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Like my OCD side was
Oh,
really like
yay. That's
appreciative of
good.
you. Anyways. All right, number 7. This one's another goofy one. How do you eat your string cheese? String or chomp?
I don't eat cheese very much, but honestly, stringing anything is too much work for me. So I probably just eat it.
That's so funny that
Sounds
you
like
say
sounds
that.
like an answer I would give,
What's
right?
that?
Like that's just too much work.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
also like I feel like it would get in your nails, and I can't handle that kind of stuff either. That's like ugh. So yeah, I'd probably just eat it, like just bite it.
That's funny. Because I don't know what they say, but they say that
It's a thing.
whichever way
Yeah.
you choose it says something
I'm
about your
impatient. I
personality.
don't like it messy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
like to
fun.
string
I
it.
can
I
see
think
how
that's
it's
a good time
fun,
to enjoy
but I'm
it.
like, ugh, yeah.
Yeah. But if you're just trying to you're like
Yeah,
a
yeah. It's
eat to
to the
live
point.
person, right? So you're just
Yes,
like, let's just
true.
get this over with. That's funny. But when I asked my husband that, he said, string it, of course. That's what it's
Yeah,
called. It's called string
I
cheese. You
can
got to
see
string
that.
it. And
I can
he's an eat to
see
live
that
person.
perspective on that for sure. I mean, and that's fine, string your cheese if you want to. I just
Yeah. All right. What's the last thing you
That's
bought for under
funny.
$50? Oh, this is another duplicate. Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, number 8, under
My
$50 that you
laptop
love
holder
and use
thing,
often.
where it like raises the laptop so it's more at like eye height. Yes, so I use it now,
Oh,
work from
nice.
home. I wasn't thinking about it at first, but I did realize after a while that like my neck and shoulders, like typing on a laptop or looking downwards at the laptop was like taking a toll. So yeah, I bought one of those things for like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
15, $20. I forget how much it was online. And yeah, it's a lot easier to sit and do work. Not that you want to be sitting and doing work for hours, but it's not as uncomfortable as it was before buying it. So yes, very practical purchase, helps with your
Oh, there you go.
posture.
Perfect. All right. Number 9 is something a little bit similar, but I feel like it's a similar question, but I feel like you like to try out new products and things like that. Whether it's skincare products or luxury items or sustainability products. So I thought this would be a good question. What's something you purchased or wanted to purchase that you felt was a rip off?
Um, well, one thing that I will say, I don't think I'm at the point of like thinking it's a ripoff, but a lot of those sustainable products do come with a higher price point. I think because it's not as popularized yet. So, these companies can't like bulk order so they can drop their prices, or like mass produce something so they can drop their prices.
Right.
So I do feel like as much as I would want to get into more of that stuff, I mean, I feel like I go in and out of it because of the price. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, like I feel like that's okay. And
Right.
other times I'm like, do I need that right now? No, so yeah. I mean, I hope
Yeah.
that one day it becomes more popular so that, there's more of a demand so that the product becomes cheaper to produce.
Well, at least you're kind of doing your part to help it become more mainstream by doing videos like you did, the post
Mhm.
about the floss that you had recently tried and that you've tried them in the past, and you do reviews on stuff, you buy raw feeds, you do try, and then you talk about them and you promote them. So at least you're
Well,
doing
one
your
thing
part
I
in
will
that
say,
way.
I did buy this travel bag that it's supposed to like slide over the handles of like your carry-on luggage so that you can just put your bag on your luggage and like roll it around so you don't have to carry it or whatever. I feel like somebody out there needs to
Hmm.
design a better like
Hmm.
thing that holds it. Like it's not a pocket. It's almost like if a pocket like didn't have a bottom part. You slide your handles or something. They need I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yep.
because the one that I got, it's not tight enough to hold it on the handles. So my bag would literally like fall off the side of my suitcase. And then I'm kind of like, what's the point of being able to like put it on my suitcase if like I'm gonna have to carry it because this thing isn't like securely fastened to my like carry-on luggage while I'm rolling it around. Anyways, I would say that's
Yeah.
definitely one thing where I'm like questioning
You
perhaps.
should invent it.
I mean, I don't,
Perhaps. No, but that's the thing. That's
right,
where people make
yeah,
money is when they solve people
right.
problems
But yeah, that
or
that's
people's
one thing.
problems.
I'm like, I wish that was made better, more secure. Like, yeah. Anyway,
All right, last question. What is something embarrassing or bad you did as a
um,
kid?
okay. I feel like this would be considered bad. It's not embarrassing, but I feel like it would be considered bad.
Okay.
So I remember sometime after I got my license, I got my license really young. I was like 15. Yeah, pretty sure I was like 15. And I was like the first person I
Okay.
knew out of like most of my friends, most people at school, like one of the first like five people I knew who like got their license. And so, some of my friends wanted to hang out. I literally and I like told my mom, like, hey, yeah, my friends want to hang out. I want to go hang out with them. And I was so used to like getting the okay. Like usually it was fine. But I got a no. So I literally
Oh,
just
yeah, yeah,
took the
yeah.
car and I left.
Oh.
Nothing happened to me.
Oh,
Like I've
jeez.
never been grounded in my life. I think my parents are probably surprised. Like, I told her no and like she just took the car and left, but nothing happened to me. Like it was just like, oh, you're back for dinner. Like it never happened. No.
Really? They didn't like punish you or
It was
anything?
kind of like, Shelly, where are you going? And I was like,
Oh my
bye. I just
God.
like took the car. Yeah. So
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dude,
Like
I
it's
would have
not
gotten
embarrassing, but it's
killed.
definitely like something others would consider as like a bad thing that like a kid did, right? But like, yeah, no. Like, I mean, I've never gotten grounded in my
Right.
life. Like nothing's ever been really like taken away from me. I guess that was an attempt to take something away from me, but obviously it really didn't work. But yeah, I was like
Right.
gone for like maybe 2 hours and then I came back home and then I was like, oh. And then I guess after that I was kind of like, oh, that was not really a big deal. It's not like she crashed it or anything. And she came home safe. So
Right. Dude, I would have gotten killed.
yeah. Yeah, my parents are very
That's
chill,
so
by the way,
funny.
in case that wasn't obvious scenario.
My mom was pretty chill too. Like I've been grounded before, but I was
Mhm.
kind of like a goody two
I mean, never
shoes,
really
you
did
know?
anything, that's why I was like, I don't know, like,
Or I definitely
what did I
got
do bad? I never really did anything bad.
well, too bad we can't have an episode around punishments because I've had some weird ones in my
Really?
family. Like I had
Yeah,
to
I've
write
never I think,
standards.
like, when you're small, it's kind of
Yeah,
like I mean, maybe nowadays, like, spanking is not a thing, It was like, I feel like that happened to me a couple of
right.
times, not often, and like, maybe like a couple
You got
times.
spanked?
I don't even remember like why or what or how many. I know
Okay.
it was not often. I can only like I could really only say like once or twice. Like, and I remember not even caring it happened. I was kind of like, okay, like that didn't even hurt. Okay. Yeah, it was not effective.
It's not effective. Oh, I definitely got spanked. I got sat on one time because I tried to challenge my mom on something. We were like fighting, and she's like, "You think you could take me?" And she pushed me down on the bed and sat on me. I was like, "I guess not. You win. Stay
Yeah.
right here."
Not punishment was
Yeah.
not like literally it was not effective. I think,
Okay.
I feel like there are times I remember my parents tried, but it never got to the point of taking something away or grounding me. But it was not effective. Like I was like, whatever, okay. All right.
Well, this was fun. I like these episodes. I love these like off the
Random.
cuff,
Mhm.
answering questions that we don't know the other
I think it was
answers
funny
to
that we
for
chose
us.
some of
I
the
love
same
it.
ones
Yeah, yeah.
to work off of. Yes.
Well, we had the same list
Was
of questions,
yeah. Mhm.
so it was bound to happen.
All right, you guys.
Yeah,
Well, that's all we
yeah.
have for this episode. I hope you enjoyed listening to our randomly selected questions we had for each other that the other did not know about. So this was totally a surprise. If you want to hear more from us, you can, make sure you're following along to our podcast. You can find us at theoutrighteffect.com. Follow us on our social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at The Outright Effect. You can also reach out to us by emailing us at theoutrighteffect@gmail.com. See you guys next time.